This is exactly what Broncos fans have been waiting for. We finally know who the Broncos will be facing in the divisional round, and it might not be who folks were expecting. We still have a game to play in the wild card weekend tonight with the Texans and Steelers, but that does not determine who the Broncos are facing. So we know the day and we know the team that they're facing. I'm Sebastian, the Broncos Digest. Welcome back, everybody. This team that we're going to be facing, not everyone's going to agree that it is actually a good matchup for the Broncos. It's not going to be easy, regardless of who we were facing. But I actually am excited to try and explain why this is going to be a really good opportunity for the Broncos here. But before we get into it, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and we just want to share our sponsor real quick.
Before we get into the rest of today's show, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. If you download Kalshi using the link in the description and use code DIGESTNFL, you're going to get $20 when you trade your first 100. Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the United States, and on their platform you can trade yes or no on real-life events such as sports, elections, news, really everything you can find on Kalshi. Now, whether you're in California, Texas, or anywhere across the country, Kalshi is now live in all 50 states. For sports fans, we can trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out at any time. Looking ahead here for the NFL schedule, we can look at the number one pick odds on Kalshi as a Fernando Mendoza is skyrocketing right now, but Dante Moore, you never know what could happen with the NFL and their odds on the first round pick. We can also pick an out-of-the-bucket option and go with Arvell Reese. This is genuinely a smarter way to use your sports and news knowledge, and you can close positions whenever you want. Again, download Kalshi with the link in the description and use code DIGESTNFL to get your $20 bonus.
All right, so let's just jump right into it because you guys can tell who we're facing. You probably already know, but let's kind of make sure we're all on the same page here. It is the Bills. We are facing the Bills on Saturday. Still waiting for a confirmed time, whether it's 2:30 Mountain Time or 6 p.m. Mountain Time, or if you're on the East Coast, whether it's 4:30 East Coast or 8 p.m. East Coast. So, I'm hoping for the night game, just because I want to be able to enjoy the first playoff game of the divisional round before we have ours, but you never know. We'll see. It should be great regardless. Kellerman saying, I'm seeing the excuses already. The Bills have to travel and play at Denver on a short week because they played yesterday on Sunday and then they have to go play on Saturday. And he says, dang right they do. That's the beauty of earning the number one seed. Don't like it. Win more games before January. I kind of like the bluntness there. The Broncos earned the advantage there. So regardless, we're going to have to face Josh Allen and they don't. So, you could call it even with that. And then Benjamin Albright said, Bills quarterback Josh Allen certainly has plenty of experience playing at altitude, having played just down the road at Wyoming, about 2,000 feet higher than Denver elevation. So it's not like, elevation is going to be a huge advantage for the Broncos, because Josh has a ton of experience both playing in the cold and at elevation. Christopher Hart from Ohio Report said that Denver's defense was at the top or near the top in the league in most every major category: red zone defense, third down defense, and sacks. When you accomplish that, it's no surprise how successful the Broncos were in 2025. Even so, now more than ever, they will need to excel in those aspects to have a shot at getting to the AFC Championship game, and of course, notching some turnovers like they did in their final game of the regular season. All this very, very true. Josh is in playoff mode. He becomes a whole different beast, and he has some great regular season games. Don't get me wrong. He's not going to be the MVP this year, but he's still the reigning MVP, and he is super dangerous in the playoffs. And now it's kind of heartbreaking because I've rooted for Josh in so many games against Mahomes and the Chiefs, and now we have to play him. But that's just kind of how it goes. In order to beat the best, you got to beat the best. Or be the best, you have to beat the best. And this is definitely one of those cases. Now, I think a lot of people were rooting for the Chargers in the Chargers-Patriots game because they thought we had a better chance against the Chargers. And like I mentioned in a previous video, I don't think that is necessarily the case. The Chargers defense is so much more scary than the Bills defense. The Bills defense can be had in a way that the Chargers defense we were clearly struggling against in the last week of the regular season, and the Broncos, And you could even argue that the Chargers would have a chip on their shoulder from, how that game went, and felt like they could win that game going back to Mile High. So I'm glad that we don't have to deal with that. And Herbert, once again, has 0 playoff wins, and he has the same amount of touchdown passes as Juwan Jennings. I just think that is a hilarious stat. And Bo Nix has already made it further in the playoffs than Justin Herbert ever has. And so here's hoping that Bo can get his first playoff win, and it would be a massive, massive win because Josh Allen is really experienced. Although he just notched his first away playoff win this past weekend against the Jaguars. Not an easy game. They barely escaped with a last minute drive to score with like about a minute left, and then they got an interception from Trevor Lawrence to end the game. So here's the thing. Josh played an almost perfect game against the Jaguars. He was pretty unstoppable, and the Broncos are going to need to force turnovers. It's not going to be, hold them to like some 3-and-outs and whatnot. I don't think it's going to be that simple. I mean, we have the defense to stymie Josh Allen. Don't get me wrong. The Jags have a good defense, but we have a better defense. The only better defense you could argue than the Broncos is the Texans. And so I'm excited about this opportunity because, like I said, their defense, I think the Broncos will be able to move the ball a lot better than they would against the Chargers. And with the Bills, if you beat Josh Allen and they're in this running game with James Cook, I think that there's going to be so much to say about that is a legitimate playoff win. There's no doubting these Broncos. There's no doubting this playoff run. They didn't get like the easy route. They you could almost argue that the other, like the Patriots, are going to get an easier team with the Steelers or the Texans. So I like this idea that the Broncos are going to have to go through, the hard way. And that's typically how it should be. If you're going to earn a championship, you have to beat really, really good teams. And this is the start of it. We're going to try and get our lick back. There's a chip on the shoulder for the Broncos from last playoffs where, they played a good first half of football against the Bills in Buffalo. And then obviously got out of hand in the second half. And now it's time for the Broncos to show that they're a different team now. That, they weren't 14-3 by accident. And God, wouldn't it be so cool we just played a complete game? But we all kind of know this is probably going to, if we don't get blown out, it'll be a close game down to the wire, but we trust Bo. He's one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the league, in this season in particular. So we have a chance. We absolutely have a chance. This Broncos roster is better than the Bills roster, but their offense is better than our offense. That's not really debatable, but hopefully that they rise up to the occasion. They're ready for the moment. It's going to feel like a playoff game. I'm trying to explain this to my family, but like if you get like the Chargers for like a third divisional game, it might not give the vibes of like a playoff game, weirdly enough. But like Josh Allen and the Bills come playoff time in the divisional round for a trip to the AFC Championship on the line, it feel like the moment feels like itself. Like you feel that like there's a ton of stakes. It's like high pressure football, and everyone's gonna be giving their best, and we're gonna be pretty healthy, all things considered. So but the Bills really actually might not be. Tracy Wolfson said here that my one concern for the Bills is health on a short week. They were already without Ty Johnson, his ankle's in a boot, and Josh Palmer on IR. They lose Gabe Davis for the season after he got injured during the Jags game. Shavers hurt his knee, got banged up. Defensively, Harrison, their rookie corner, or second year, I can't remember. The linebacker Bernard missed the game and may not be back, and Poyer left with a hamstring injury. Not to mention, Josh got absolutely battered. I mean, he was really, getting absolutely, roughed up. You saw him limping around a few times, but he's a warrior. He's a soldier, so it's like, he's going to be ready come time for Denver. And this is, interestingly enough, the first time the Bills are playing in Denver for a playoff game. The Broncos and Bills have faced each other only twice before in the playoffs, and they've both been in Buffalo. And both been losses for the Broncos. So it was, I think 1991 was the first time, and then obviously last playoffs last year was the second time. So this will be the third matchup between the Bills and the Broncos in the playoffs, and the first time in Denver. Hopefully Broncos can get their first win against the Bills in playoff history, and get another game in Denver for the AFC Championship game. But it's going to be a lot to break down. We'll talk about injuries, who's coming back. I mean, Sean Payton has been hinting about all kinds of things. The Broncos are going to need a really good run game to really, set the tone. I'm hoping that RJ Harvey is going to be ready for, whatever comes his way. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, and I think Bo also will be ready for the moment. But let me know what you guys think down below. And I'm really excited just about this opportunity to get revenge against the Bills and just, playing a really big game. This is the biggest game for the Broncos since Super Bowl 50, and now it's time to prove it. So let me know what you guys think down below, and until the next update, we'll see you guys in the next video.